Okay, my name's David. I've been with the group for almost 2 months, but I've been trading for just over 2 years. Never had any real big losses. Always good days, bad days, but never anything crazy. So I was just running on my own forever. And then I found you on TikTok and started listening to you, and then finally pulled the trigger. And then actually last week I updated to the lifetime because I know it's paying off already. What I've been doing is I've been concentrating on a total of about 6 stocks, but most of my trades have been happening on the Apple 2 minute EVO strategy. And then I also have been using that super trend that I saw on your screen for some of my exits because I get kind of paranoid. I don't like to sit in there all day. So I'll get out a little bit early. But what I was tracking is if you just went off of the calls that said the 2 minute candle and you were waiting till the end when it flips, I was tracking to see how many of those would be an actual loss, profit, or break even. And as of now, I'm at 87 trades. I have 5 that are break even, and then 2 that are losses. And all the rest of them have been a pretty decent profit.
So 87 trades, 2 losses and 5 flat.
Yeah, and the flat were basically like a couple dollars. So it was a couple dollars up, couple dollars down. I was giving myself a little bit of a buffer for the break even because if anybody else was doing it, it would all depend on where you're buying per candle. So I gave myself a little bit of a buffer there for the break evens, but the losses were like a couple percentage losses.
Perfect. All right. So out of 87 trades, 80 of those were green. That's what I've got out of that.
Yes.
So using the 2 minute EWO, 87 trades fully tested, 80 were good, 5 were flat, meaning no money one way or the other, and 2 losses. So tell us a little bit about how you're entering. What is the 2 minute EWO? How are you working it? What is your your percentage of stop loss? Like, go into a little bit of how you're actually using our 2 minute EWO strategy as it pertains to you.
So on the 2 minute, I wait for the indicator to flip flop. Usually, since I could still consider myself a newer trader, I don't get in the first 30 minutes of the day, usually not even the first hour of the day. For Central Time, I've been noticing that around 9:30 to 10 o'clock Central is when I either see a level off or a pattern change, and then I start going from there. So I've been using the 2 minute color change in that time range for my first trade. And usually what I've been doing is following your I guess it's not actually a rule, but if it's under VWAP for myself and I'm going for a call, I won't go into it. So I'll just skip that one and look for one of my other ones. So what I've been doing is following that guideline. If you're going for a call and it's over VWAP, then I jump into it. If it's going for a call and it's still under VWAP, I just hesitate and I won't go on it. I'll wait for a better entry, just for what I've been doing myself personally. And then I also have been using the super trend to get out. And I noticed that it's a little bit more sensitive than the color change of the EWO. So I'll actually get out a little bit earlier. And that's been real helpful. And I think that's what kept some of those right at the break even instead of actually losses.
Yeah, that's good. So the super trend, in case anybody doesn't know, it's an indicator that Webull has that's actually a little late on the party versus our 2 minute. So typically we will know in our 2 minute before the super trend kicks off, as you can see here, right? So I'm looking at a 2 minute. So that's the super trend is always really late, but I use it as a quick glance to go, hey, what's it doing at this juncture, and then break it down. So that's cool that you were able to use it in a different fashion than, me just staring at it, using it as, hey, this is up right now, this is down right now, and then break it all down, right? So
Yes,
that's
sir.
cool that you're doing that. So you said that you've mostly been trading Apple, and what other stocks?
Google, Netflix, Amazon, and then I've done a couple on Coin that I've tracked as well. Just trying to make sure that it's not just a fluke on the ones that I'm watching or my personal pattern. So I've tried to switch it up in the past week, but I still keep going back to Old Faithful Apple.
Yeah, that's perfect. So Apple is typically, just so everybody knows, not as volatile. But the cool thing is yeah, everything else you said is. So it's not like he picked some sort of honeypot 87 trades, right? And predictable. It's not. He was all over the place, trading different trades. using the 2-minute EWO strategy to have such a high success rate. And I'm glad you shared that. Any other extra information that might be able to help new traders? The biggest thing I got from that is you entered at the correct time. You never went against the grain, and you always exited when you were profitable. Let's talk about that. How did you know when to exit to make sure you were profitable, or how did you use your stops, etc.?
My personal is I try to just break it down to 10 and 20%. So I'm good with 20. If it's running, 10. And then if it's running, I'll let it run to 20. But I always, I've heard you say it plenty of times for the past couple of months. If it's green, it's green. So I jump out on my own. But like I said, the tracking that I've been doing on my spreadsheet is actually running it all the way through. So out of the 87, it shows 60 on Apple alone, and then the rest of them were mixed up with the other 6 stocks that I was talking about.
Yeah, that's
other 5.
So the other thing again too, right? And we talked about that a little bit today, everybody, is that if you concentrate on a couple of stocks, you'll get to know, right, their ebbs and flows and right how they handle certain situations, the patterns, what they look like. So that also helped that you were concentrating more on Apple, right? So you get a feel for how Apple works, right? And Jimmy can attest to that. Once you get used to certain stocks, you kind of get a feel of how they breathe, what they look like, the pullbacks they have, So that's really cool. Any other information?
One of the things that I know was the most helpful for myself was the pulling back and trying to concentrate on just a couple to begin with. I know personally, before I joined the group, I was always trying to follow too many or try to buy and do trades on too many stocks at one time. And I wasn't really trying to concentrate. So that's why I pulled myself back to just concentrate on about 5 or 6. And that's another thing that you've been saying forever is stop chasing everything. And then what Jimmy says all the time, don't chase every shiny penny. So that's when I really pulled back, dedicated myself to just concentrating on 5, 6 stocks that I personally went back probably 45 to 60 days on most of those stocks, just looking for different types of patterns, different ranges, and seeing what they do like different times of the day. And then I wrote that in my journal based on each stock. And that's why I personally still don't get in the first 30 minutes of the day usually.